Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again. Real Ken's TV in the house like kitchen sinks. Now, before I get into this evening's video, understand that I'm the self-proclaimed Mr. 30 Minutes or Better, meaning that anytime I bring you a story, it's guaranteed to be 30 minutes or better. So if you're on your way to work, you're at work, you don't feel like being there, you look at the clock and there's 3 or 4 hours left, and you're like, how am I going to get through these next few hours? You're on your way home from work, you need to laugh, you need to cry. Perhaps you need to lay down and take a nap, or you're trying to go to sleep at night, depending on whatever time you're listening to or viewing this video, or you're just in the mood for a good old-fashioned true, keyword being true penitentiary / life story / life experience. This is the channel for you. If you prefer your 8 to 12 to 15-minute videos, salute to you. But at Real Ken's TV, it's 30 minutes or better. So with all that being said, and we're going to wrap all of it up into one big old nutshell, if you will, there is a message. Now, as you all can see, this is an audio message, a video, however you want to phrase it. I haven't been feeling too well the last couple of days or so didn't necessarily want to be on camera because that energy, I want that energy to be transformed into you all, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Although I don't feel well, guess what? The show must go on. Now, before we get started, I'm sipping on some orange juice right now, and I got my fruits. I got my, my vitamin C's. I got my, all the things that you take to help you get better. I think I just have a cold. Hopefully it's not the flu or anything. Let me know where you're chiming in from. I'm in Lexington, Kentucky. Jump in the comments. Let me know where you're chiming in from. This is a situation, man, with a guy that I was really, really, to this day, I'm close with him. Good buddy of mine, man. And his name is Ralph. Ralph is a black guy. Kids, why every time you describe somebody that's a buddy of yours, he's a black guy? I got some white buddies just as well. Fret not. I definitely got a couple white buddies. You got to have you some white buddies, man. Because white buddies, man, they're going to be the ones that really, really, truly have your back no matter what. Oh, fucking bullshit. What is your bond? Your bond is $50,000? By God, we're on our way. You got to have you some white buddies. Now, I'm just being facetious. I'm just joking. But a couple white guys that I'm cool with, man. I've been cool with for years, man. The same people that I'm cool with at this point in my life, man, we all 20 years or better. A lot of us really 30 years or better. So I kind of have like the same friends that I've always had. It's 30 minutes or better, right? So being that this is 30 minutes or better, we're going to take our time. We're going to relax. We're not going to get straight to the storyline. If you want a storyteller, if you will, that goes straight to the point or whatever, I understand that. But again, I'm the self-proclaimed Mr. 30 minutes or better. I'm for the people, man. I'm genuinely for the people. People don't understand this YouTube business. They don't understand that I could easily get on here and, talk for 8, 10, 12 minutes and then it's over with. No, man, I want to give the people something to think about, something to pass along. Like I said, if you're a truck driver and you're trying to get them big loads off, pause, double pause. If you're a medical worker, healthcare worker, you're working at UPS, Amazon, you're in them hospitals, you mopping them floors, you flipping them burgers, you working the fries, you performing surgery, whatever the case may be, because I have all types of individuals that listen to my channel, and we're only continuing to grow step by step. That's the people that I really do it for. The people that's on them, them lines at the factories, whether it's, Toyota, Amazon, Ford. You're able to put your earbuds in and just kind of, you're doing your job, but it just kind of takes your mind off of actually being at work, if that makes any sense. You all are the reason that I do these videos for. We're going to get to the story, but I need to give you all that listen to my channel, that watch me, a big shout out. Everybody. So I may miss your profession. not intentionally. I may miss your profession, but understand that I'm so appreciative for every last one of you all, every last one. When I can't answer all my comments at this point, but I try my best to answer some. But understand that I see every last one of them. I read every last one of them. And I'm a small channel at this point. Nothing's going to change about me when I'm no longer a small channel. And I read some of those comments, and sometimes people don't agree with me. Come on, Kens. I can't agree with you on this one now. I rock with you, but that's fine, because guess what? You holding me accountable. I don't want yes people around me. Even if I still feel as though I'm right, I want people that has an opinion. You know, I don't need you to just, yeah, Kens, you right. Yeah, you said it and you was right. You said that, Kens, and you was right. You said the only way we was getting out of here was through that morgue, and you was right. What are you talking about? What you mean when I'm talking about the upper room, nigga? The upper room? Can't really hit it the way I want to hit it because my voice, from being sick. But in all seriousness, man, I really appreciate you all, and it really brightens my day when I see all of these comments and positive, just the support that I really, really have. So I really view you all as friends, man. I genuinely do. So, thank you. I can't thank you enough. And we're gonna take this thing to the top, but we're gonna do it the right way. You know what I mean? So, my buddy Ralph been cool for a lot of years, man. And back in, I want to say, I don't remember the exact year, but let's just say 2000, because I was in prison, then I got out of prison, then I went back to prison, then I got out of prison. So let's just say 2015, I want to say. Ralph and I, we were cool, but we hadn't really been corresponding quite as much. Nothing happened. It's just life. Life was life, And young lady and I that I was with for a long time, Shorty 140. That's what she went by. She got that name because back in the day when she was younger, she was trying to be a rapper and a dancer, and she was very talented. She just never stuck with it. But that was her name back then, Shorty 140. So times I was in prison or whatever, she held me down. We remain friends to this day. But nevertheless, I was living, I moved in with her. Everything was hers, electric, gas, water, everything was in her name. And I moved in with her at her apartment, these apartment complexes or whatever. Now, mind you that, remember when I said that Ralph and I hadn't really been talking? So one day, I'm outside, and her kids were younger at this time, and I'm playing, I'm passing the baseball, whatever, with her son. Her son was real good in baseball, so I would always go out and we work on things and play basketball and pass the football. Like, he played all three sports. So we throwing the baseball, and they had like a swimming pool. I'm trying to paint a picture for you also at an apartment complex. For you all that have lived in an apartment complex or do live in an apartment complex, it's kind of like always a big open field. Some larger, some smaller, and has a swimming pool. And then you have an area for kids to run around in or whatever. So we're out there passing, and I end up seeing Ralph. Keep in mind, you all, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to get back to the story. This video is not to be rushed. This is for the people that's trying to get through their shifts. So, it is what it is. So I see Ralph. He's like, "What's up, man?" I'm like, "What's up, Ralph? What's going on with you?" Like, it's 2015. We've been cool, like, for many, many, many years prior to that. At least 20. So I'm like, "Man, what you doing over here?" He was like, "I live here, nigga." "What you doing over here?" I'm like, "Nigga, I live here." I'm like, "You lying?" He was like, "You lying?" I'm like, "Nah, I live right here." Now, we lived on the 3rd floor. He was like, "Well, I live right here." He lived on the 1st floor. So we were like opposite. Like, I could go on the balcony and look down and see his place. He can go on his patio and look up and see my place. We weren't directly across from each other, but not too far away or whatever. Like literally, I could talk to him on the back. Like, what's up, man? I ain't doing nothing, man. What you doing? You know, that's how close we were. I was like, how long you lived out here? He's like, man, I've been out here for about 3 or 4 months. How long you been here? I was like, 6 months. I was like, dog, we've talked on the phone since then. I didn't even know you stayed out here. Vice versa. He didn't know I stayed out there. So nevertheless, he was messing with this young lady named Erin. Now, Erin was a white lady. She was fine too. She was probably about 5'5", 5'6", shoulder length hair, brown hair, nice bob, man. She had a nice body. Not that I was looking at my dude's girl, but your eyes see what your eyes see, right? Now my dude Ralph, dark skinned dude, not real dark. I would say more so caramel. Had a bald head. He always wore 2 earrings like Barry Bonds, the former baseball player, Barry Bonds. He would wear 2 earrings, an earring in each ear, and he wore the handcuffs. Had, a slick bald head or whatever. A lot of women liked him. They took to Ralph. Ralph lifted weights, always worked out or whatever. So, he stayed in shape. Ralph was about 5'11". Ralph actually wasn't about 5'11". He was blatantly 5'11". You know why? Because the world is blatantly 5'11", in my eyes. Respectfully, though. They were doing their thing or whatever together. I didn't really know much about Erin because, again, I'm just finding out that he lived there. Matter of fact, I didn't know anything about Erin. Shorty 140, she had a son, then she had a daughter. They're about 1.5 years apart. The daughter was cool with Erin, which was Ralph's girl's daughter. They were cool. The same exact age, the same exact grade. I want to say at the time they were 14. They were both 14. They ride the bus together. Now, this was one of those type of neighborhoods to where it's rare that you see these days. Had a lot of kids. You got the kids from the apartment complex, and then it's always some houses surrounding the apartment complex. Everybody would come over. This is when kids was actually being kids. They didn't sit in the house on their phones and on video games and tablets all day. They went outside, man. That's how I came up, riding my dirt bike on, sneaking to the trails and playing basketball and baseball and football in the yard and racing and just being outside playing hide and go seek and, all of those things like as a kid, man, to where when the lights came on, come on inside, mama, can I stay outside just a little longer? Mama, can I stay outside just a little longer? Now, when your mama's having a card game or a get-together, she might let you stay out. Otherwise, it depends on what type of mood she was in. You better bring your ass on in this house. Sometimes she'll allow you to stay out. This was back when being a kid, you could really, really be a kid. I always loved that neighborhood just for that. Safe, nobody, you might see a little fist fight here and there, but it was never no violence, anything of the sorts. Everybody will be outside playing. You look outside, I step outside on the balcony. I got the grill going or whatever. Wasn't supposed to be grilling on the 3rd floor, but hey, y'all don't tell nobody. I won't say nothing. It's 30, 40 kids outside. It's dark outside, but it's not dark because they have the lights. Kids just running around playing, having a good time, as kids are supposed to be doing. Time elapsed, time goes past or whatever. So I ended up meeting her. She was cool. I met the daughter or whatever. And everything was, everything. So I thought. One day, I'm talking to Ralph. He's like, hey, bro, I can't take this anymore. See, that's why you never judge a book by its cover. Things may seem to be one way from the outside, from other individuals that are perceiving how things are in your household, but all along they never really know exactly what's going on in your house, man. And they shouldn't know, to be honest. You keep that under, tight, constructive, however you want to put it. You don't tell everybody your business as far as what's going on in your household. Loose lips break relationships. Well, I'm talking to Ralph one day, and he's just like, bro, man, everything's been cool with us the last few months, but, well, prior to this, but the last month, man, it's been like pure hell. I'm like, what's going on, Ralph? He's like, Erin, man, I think she's back getting high. Erin used to get high. I said, well, why you think that? Man, I'm calling her phone. She's not answering. She don't never have no money, so bills and it's overdue and things are being cut off. And I'm having to pick up the slack. I'm already helping out, but I'm having to pick up the slack, and she'll never have no money. Come to find out, she don't even have a job anymore or whatever. I'm like, whoa. So I'm listening to him, not judging, just genuinely listening to him. He's talking about how he's having to take the daughter to school or make sure that, she's up and things of that nature. A couple times she overslept, so he had to take her to school. But I'm having to do all the assume the responsibilities, the things that she's supposed to be doing, but she's not even coming home certain nights. I felt for him. I'm like, whoa, man, that's deep. And he was like, I care for her so much, and I care for the daughter that, I don't want to just walk out, because who's going to tend to the daughter? She's 14, but yet at the same time, like, I mean, man, you got to show some sort of, effort. So this thing continues to happen. I go over there again one day. Well, we're just talking. He's like, man, that little heifer. Now, this is just how he talks. He didn't mean anything disrespectful. It just, sometimes that's just how black people talk. Let me tell you about this little heifer. Talking about the little girl, the 14-year-old. I'm like, what's up, man? He said, bro, I was sitting there playing the game on the couch last night. She walks through with her panties on and a very, very, very short see-through shirt. Now, she's 14, but she's developed. She doesn't look like your average 14-year-old. So she's walking across, blatantly walking past the TV, in front of the TV, so that I would see her. So Ralph was like, man, what are you doing? He's like, what do you mean? What do you mean, what am I doing? He's like, man, if you don't take your ass in there and put some clothes on, man, well, this is my house. I should be able to walk around any way that I want to, man. Go in there and put some clothes on, man. So she goes in, she puts some clothes on or whatever. The same sort of situation happened a few other times. One time she's in the shower. She's calling him, Ralph, like she's screaming. So he's like, yeah, what's up? He's talking to her through the door. She was like, can you, I don't have a towel. Can you bring me a towel? It was something like that. Can you please bring me a towel? He was like, all right, man, I'll just set it by the door. She was like, no, I got the curtain closed or whatever. Just set it on the toilet or whatever. He said he didn't really think much of it or whatever at the time. He goes and gets the towel, whatever, brings it, opens the door. He sees that the curtain is closed before he even walks in. Walks over to the toilet. As he's walking over to the toilet, everything was, I guess, calculated, perfectly calculated. The whole damn, you know how you hold your shower curtains up with the little bar or whatever? That part of it falls down. Now you got different types of, you got certain ones that are already not nailed to the wall, but they have screws in them. They can't fall down. But this particular one had the suction cups or whatever on each side. So it could fall down at any given time. The shower curtain fell down. She's in the shower, obviously with no clothes on. He felt as though she did that intentionally. He immediately walks out of the room, out of the bathroom. He's trying to tell Aaron, like, listen, man, you need to get yourself together. But he's also trying to tell Aaron about the daughter. Hey, man, your daughter's been walking around the house. She don't mean anything by that. She's just comfortable with you. And, you know, she looks at you as a father figure. So she doesn't, because her father was in prison. I failed to mention that. Aaron's father, and you all going to hear about him later on in the story. Aaron's baby's daddy, which was, obviously the daughter's father, he had been in the pen. He had never really been active in a little girl's life like that, in and out, like a thief in the night. And so he don't really want to bring this up to her because, after all, I'm trying to get you to get back focused. But I'm telling you, man, your daughter's walking around here. She needs you. She's walking around here half naked. I'm doing everything that I can do. But at the same time, if you're not going to be here, I don't know how much longer I can be here. No. She just looks at you. It's nothing like that. Or what? Yeah, but I don't feel comfortable with that. She's 14 years old. I'm a grown-ass man. No 14-year-old needs to be walking around the house half naked. Well, what are you saying? Are you a pedophile? Is how she was talking. Are you a pedophile? You shouldn't even be looking at her like that. I'm not looking at her like that. That's why I'm coming to you and I'm telling you that this is an issue. She doesn't even need to be walking around. Aaron never seen it. The daughter, like I said, she was 14, well-developed, cute little girl. She's mixed. Went on and on and on or whatever. Nothing changed. Ralph decided, you know what, man, I can't take this any longer. I'm done. I can't continue to sacrifice my happiness. And you're out here doing who knows what with who knows who. I'm paying all the bills at this point. You're not doing anything. She get a little job, waiting tables or whatever. And then 2 or 3 weeks, something would happen. She no longer worked there. And she was always at her baby's daddy's house. Always at her other baby's daddy. But he had custody of the child that they had. He had 2 baby's daddies. Ralph has a big heart, man. I'm not just saying it because he's my friend. He's just one of those guys that wears his, like him and I get into it to this day. And he'll get mad and won't speak to me because he's one of them guys that wears his feelings on his sleeves. Anything hurts his feelings. He feels like if you all get into it, if he gets into it with anybody, it's their fault automatically, not his. And I've told him, like, bro, you got to lose that mentality. Because for one, that sounds stupid as fuck. You're not perfect. You know what I mean? Now, your intentions may be pure, and perfect, but you're not perfect, dude. So lose the whole, if you get into it with somebody, it's automatically their fault. No. He tells her, listen, man, I'm done. I'm leaving the situation. He leaves the relationship. Aaron don't like that whatsoever. She's called, at first, it wasn't really too much. But then, she's blowing the phone up. The little girl was staying with us for a couple weeks to make sure, she ate, got to school, whatever. Because the mother was out there gone off drugs. I guess she kind of gets things back in order to a certain extent. We didn't want the little girl to end up in foster care. But that's probably where she was going to go. If she didn't have loving people around her to make sure that, everything was everything. Now, just imagine. Her daddy's in the penitentiary. Her mother's out in the streets on drugs. She needed love. She was probably thinking that, I walk around this house naked or whatever, and he's going to want me, and he's going to... But Ralph wasn't that type of guy. A lot of dudes would have bit. I'm not saying every dude. I'm not saying that. But you got a lot of dudes that would have bit and would have went on and did what they feel like they needed to do, which is disgusting But nevertheless, it doesn't change the facts. The mother starts to, come around or whatever. So now that she's been clean for 3 weeks, a month or so, she wants Ralph to come back. Ralph has had it up to here with her. No, I'm not. I care about you. I care about the child or whatever, but no, I'm not coming back. Oh, so you just gonna do me like that? You just gonna leave? What do you mean? I've been hanging in there for damn near a whole year while you go through your escapades or whatever. What do you mean? Okay, I got something for you. Yeah, well, yeah, whatever. Ralph's at the house one day. He done went and got his own crib. Now, Ralph wasn't no innocent type dude. He was a good dude. Ralph is on probation for child support. Yeah, in Kentucky, they will send your ass to prison for child support. Anything over $1,000 is considered flagrant non-support. Only reason he got behind is because, life happens. He lost his job at some point. Then he ended up getting sick. He goes to the hospital one night, and he didn't really want to go, but he had been sick for like 3 or 4 nights, 2 or 3 nights. And it got to the point to where he was throwing up. He was lightheaded, dizzy. He just couldn't, he had to go to the hospital. Well, when he went to the hospital, he said he remembers them checking him in. Next thing you know, 3 months later, he's waking up out of a coma. It was an induced coma, but he's waking up out of a coma. He don't know what happened. They end up having to send him to Cardinal Hill. That's where you go and rehabilitate and learn how to walk again. They had him on dialysis for like a month. His kidneys are shut down, but they came back or whatever. And so he spent all of this time, 5-6 months before he even went back home. Luckily, he had family support, that was paying it, just helping him out while he was in there. So he ended up getting behind on child support. When he got behind on child support, the Commonwealth state, they don't give a damn about you being in a coma. They don't give a damn about you not feeling good. Guess what? They pay this money. I understand you should, take care of your kids, but sending a couple $100, $300 a month is not necessarily the definition of taking care of your kids. You might not have any money for your kids like that, but you can spend time or whatever. Prosecutors is ruthless, man. They're prosecuting who's well behind $1,000. And they end up giving him a felony. He didn't have no felonies, none. Got a felony, took a 2-year deal. They probated it, but if you mess up, guess what? You got to do 2 years. He's out, he's working again, he has everything going, So, police come to his door one day, the detectives. He's rolling, he sells weed. He got a couple pounds on the table. He got the scales out. He got the little presser out, you know what I'm saying? The compressor or whatever, he's doing his thing, but he's thinking that it's one of his partners that was coming to the door. Come on in. Come inside, it's the detectives. They see everything that's going on. They're coming to question him about the report that I failed to mention that Aaron filed. Aaron, his ex. He's been filing with my daughter, saying inappropriate things to my daughter, touching my daughter inappropriately. Again, we're in a Commonwealth state. Commonwealth state to where a person can just literally go downtown and say you did something, and guess what? You did it. No evidence, no nothing. They lock him up based upon what they see. Trafficking marijuana. Everybody thinks marijuana is not a big deal. I just, come to Kentucky and see what it's going to get your ass. Trafficking marijuana, selling marijuana. Couple pounds. You got the baggies out. You got the scales. Clearly in their eyes, trafficking marijuana. And so that situation occurs. They take him to jail. When he goes to jail, they're asking him questions about this little girl. The detectives is coming in asking him questions. I don't know what y'all talking about, officer. He's telling them exactly what I told you all about, how she was walking across the TV, half naked and things of that nature. They try to twist his words around. That's why I say never talk to the police, because they're not there to get the truth. They're there to help their case. They're not trying to get the truth. They only want to help their case. That occurs. Now they ended up charging him sexual abuse. It was something like that. So here it is now. You got your child support, you got the trafficking for the weed, and you have sexual abuse on a minor. They end up sending him to the penitentiary. He convinces his PO, like, look, please just send me to the penitentiary. Get me out of this county jail. The county jail absolutely sucks. Y'all hear that noise? Because I'm hitting my fist in my hand. Absolutely sucks. You'd rather be in the pen than be in the county. You'd rather be at home. But I'm just saying, if you had to be anywhere, you'd rather be in the pen than in the county jail. They sent him to the pen, to the Rotary Farm. The Rotary Farm's in LaGrange, Kentucky, about an hour and a half away from Lexington, where we currently reside. He's there, but he's having so many court dates. It's a long process. Wake you up at 4 o'clock in the morning. You got to pack all your stuff up. They do inventory on it. They change you out into an orange jumpsuit. Put that little black, you got to eat your breakfast. Put that little black box on you, which is torture. Hour and a half ride. You get there. You got to keep the black box on. Even if you got to use the restroom, it doesn't matter. They will not take that black box off. Now, child support. He's in prison for child support. By the time you get back to the prison, it's 4 or 5 o'clock. 12 hours that you've had to endure this. And you consistently do it over and over until your case is resolved. A lot of people are just going to plead guilty because they don't want to keep going through that. Like, look, man, go on and plead guilty, man. I'm tired of this. He's going back and forth. They sent him from the Rotary Farm. The Rotary Farm's where you go get processed, physical exam, mental evaluation, or whatever. They determine based upon your criminal history where you're going to be housed at. He goes to a level 3 yard. Lions, tigers, goons, gorillas, and bears. Hyenas. He's on the yard. Now, the twist is he had a brother that was in prison too. Black Chris. Black Chris learned of where he was at. Initially, they weren't on the same yard. But Black Chris had been in the system for a while. So he learned where his brother was at. He put in for a transfer. Just so happens he ended up getting to the same yard where his brother was at. That doesn't happen very often. It happens sometimes, though, because when you go in for a transfer, you tell them, like, listen, they give you 3 spots. 3 locations where you want to go to. You're going to go to one, but you can't determine which one. Black Chris was kind of cool with the unit director and caseworkers or whatever. Not saying he was doing anything faulty or whatever, but they kind of liked him. So, man, my brother, man, and so they sent him to the spot to where his brother was at. Now he's on the yard with his brother. Black Chris was into some gangster shit, though. You know, he was in a gang. He was always fighting and doing this and doing that. Ralph was a laid-back individual. He wasn't on any of that. Now, Ralph is the older brother. Black Chris is 2 years younger. They got a sister and another brother. So it's 4 of them total. And they were like stair steps. They all within a year and a half, 2 years, 2.5 years apart. So now they on the same yard. And, everything's cool. Everything's cool. Black Chris got clout. He got his own little clique. He's the leader of his clique. They about 8, 9 deep. You know what I'm saying? Ralph, he knew some people or whatever, but Ralph was never really in the streets like that. Sold a little weed or whatever, but he wasn't really in the streets like that. But, some people knew him, but he just wasn't a street dude. During this whole process, he's going back and forth to court or whatever. And the individual, Erin, that I spoke of earlier, she had spoken with her baby's daddy that was in the pen. Remember I said baby's daddy was in the pen. Lo and behold, they're all on the same yard. Now, nobody knows anything about anybody else. Erin tells her baby's daddy that, Phil, whatever. So she starts to do his homework or whatever. Come to find out, Phil's on the same yard. Wow, what a coincidence. Her baby's daddy was known in the pen, man. Knuckles. They called him Knuckles. Some people called him Nux for short. But Knuckles. Why would anybody be named Knuckles? Because he was known for knocking people out, man. This dude was 5'11" too. Black dude. Little baby afro. He wore glasses. Kind of looked like a little, not a nerd, because I don't want to call anybody a nerd, but, it's kind of what he looked like, man. 5'11", and then he'd been lifting weights. Like, he's a powerful dude, but he had a gut. Everything else was, he was in shape or whatever, but he just, I guess, he liked to eat at night or whatever. He had that gut on him, but he was known for knocking people out, man. And once he learned of Ralph on the yard, it was what it was. He's got to get at Ralph, man. This is my baby daughter. This is my daughter. And you been doing these things to my daughter? Although Ralph hadn't done anything to the little girl, but looked out for her. Hadn't done anything. Erin was just bitter. Court proceedings is going on. Gets to the point, the prosecution, they want to speak with the daughter at some point. Initially, I don't think they spoke with her, but they want to speak to her again to reconfirm and make sure that everything is everything. She comes clean. Listen, I only said these things because my mother told me to say them. Ralph was nothing but a good stepfather. He's never done anything to me. He's never touched me. He's never said anything. He only told me to go put on some clothes. He only took me to school, bought me food, helped me with my homework. He never did anything of the sorts to me at all. Sworn statement. Prosecution. Prosecution hears that, but guess what? Instead of initially or immediately dismissing the charges, they wish to proceed with the charges. Oh, someone must have gotten her. Is anyone threatening you? Someone must have gotten in your mind and in your head to for you to say these things. They don't dismiss the charges. Got Ralph in the pen. 2 pending charges. They're not going to allow one charge like the way that they do it in Kentucky, the Commonwealth. If you have 2 charges, they kind of work with each other. You don't want to plead guilty to this till you know what's going on over here. So they would offer him deals. Okay, you plead guilty to this, and then the sexual assault. I didn't do this. I didn't do any of these things. Time was coming. It was close to going to trial. Although they had a signed affidavit from the little girl, it was 14. At this point, she's 15. The prosecution still was not trying to dismiss the case. They still wanted that conviction, knowing that this man is innocent and he didn't do anything. But they still wanted to advance their careers by getting that conviction. Y'all rock with me. I'm taking another drink of my OJ. Y'all let me know where you're chiming in from, man. Hold on. Before I take a drink, I said taking another drink of my OJ. Motherfucking double, triple, infinite pause. I'm not taking a drink of OJ. I'm taking a drink of my orange juice. I just caught myself right there. I'll jump in them comments, man. Let me know where you chiming in from. I like interaction with the audience, my friends. You all my friends, man. In the meanwhile, while this is going on in the courtroom, the court proceedings is going down on the yard. Erin has told Knuckles about what's going on. They done discovered who Phil was. So now they riding for Phil. They're about to ride on Phil. Phil don't even know that they're about to ride on him. His brother, his younger brother, Black Chris, nobody knows. Phil's working in the kitchen. He was an excellent cook. He's working in the kitchen. He noticed that dude had said something to him a time or two. Yeah, we know what's up. Kept saying, we know what you did last summer. Kept saying that to him. He ain't know what. He ain't really paying no mind. Had absolutely no clue who Knuckles was. He had never seen Knuckles a day in his life. They come through one day. They decide to ride. They run in on Knuckles. I'm sorry. Let's rewind that. That's my manual rewind for you all that have never heard it before. They run in on Phil. Right there in the chow hall. Get the chow hall. You got cameras everywhere. You got a couple COs in there. They run directly behind the line. You know how, like, when you go to a restaurant, a cafeteria, or something like that, the same way prison is. They run in and they attack Phil, man. They start to beat Phil. Being that Phil was 5'11", he had that instinct that your average individual's not gonna have, man. He kind of seen it, come in his direction. He's fighting them off as much as he can, but it's three of them. They gorillas, man. Dude's been locked up, man, for years. Then you got a dude named Knuckles. Knuckles. Known for knocking people out. But about his daughter, man. In his mind about his daughter, man, I'm going all out. I can't say I wouldn't have done the same. Phil's backing up or whatever. He's fighting, but he's backing up. And he's trying to, get him up off of him or whatever, but he can't. So when he backs up, he's kind of like in the kitchen at this point. Now you got your kitchen workers. They're not going to jump in. They're inmates. You may have you probably going to have like a couple of people that, from the outside, it's like Airmark. Most prisons are fed by Airmark, contracted through Airmark. You're going to have some Airmark workers. They talk all that tough stuff. But when it really hits the fan, they ain't going to do shit. They shake it and die knots. They're backing him up or whatever. He's backing up. He's swinging. He's fighting or whatever. But he's smart. He's luring them right into his trap. If I can just get back to the kitchen. So you got the kitchen where the feeding area, but if you get back to the back to where the dishes and the food and everything's at. Back in the day, if y'all ever watch Batman's in trouble. He's in deep trouble and he's reaching for his belt, but he just can't quite get there. And if I could just reach my utility belt. Phil was trying to reach his utility belt. He got him back to the back of the kitchen. He knew that once he got him to a certain point, the knives were right there. He grabbed a big old butcher knife. They fell for it. They swing and he cuts one of them. Zack! Cuts one of them like right across his knuckles. And what's ironic about it, Knuckles, the dude that was spearheading the attack, was the one that got cut right across his knuckles. That's ironic. I can't make this up. I guess I could, like other YouTubers. Not all YouTubers, but, a lot of other YouTubers that want to tell these false stories to get you all to click on and listen to stories about booty bandits and they seen so many fights and, man, if you want to hear the truth, come to my channel. All that, the rest of that stuff, man, I guess it's entertainment, You're only going to see so many booty bandits in prison. You're only going to see so many fights and violent attacks in prison. But hey, teach his own. Cuts Knuckles right across his knuckles. Deep wound. Ends up cutting another dude just as well. Got a big butcher knife. They run out. Police come in. Whatever. Signal 7 that I always talk about. Signal 7 in the chow hall. Signal 7 in the chow hall. Punk ass COs that act so tough. Now they frantic. That's the reason that I say it in that manner, that demeanor, because they went from being tough and you need to take your hat off. You need to take your jacket off. I'll write you up. I'll do this. They got a pen, the power of the pen. They'll write you up. As soon as it hits the fan, when it gets gangsta, when it gets gangster, You see what they do, grab their radio. Signal 7! Signal 7 is a signal of, everywhere has different signals. Code signals, what have you. Signal 7 in the chow hole! Signal 7 in the chow hole! They're frantic. They don't know what to do. People's come in. Everybody gets taken to the hole that, that is seen involved. Then they do an evaluation or an investigation, rather. And the people that's on camera, they take them to the hole. Although Phil was being attacked, he still has to go to the hole, pending investigation. All of this is going on in the penitentiary. You still got the court proceedings going on. The prosecutor refuses to drop the charges. The little girl has changed the whole tune. I'm not prosecuting or whatever. He didn't do this. My mother pressed me to say these things. She's back out there getting high. My father's in prison. He was the only person in this world. The world, Craig. The world. And I'm writing your ass up for insubordination. Only person in this whole world that cared for her. I know that I said these things, but I was pressured to say them. Phil goes to the hole for a few days, 3 days. They do the investigation. They let him back out. Same yard. It's determined. Phil was just defending himself. 3 individuals that attacked him, they're not going to allow them to be on the same yard. They're going to shift them. Why? Because it was a physical attack. It was violence involved, so they're not going to put them back on the same yard. Phil gets out of the hole. He's back on the yard. Simultaneously, the court proceedings is going on. He makes the people think that he's going to trial. Well, he was going to trial. It wasn't no making them think. Sometimes you can kind of get a better deal if you, because the prosecution, the way that they work is they'll say, listen, man, we'll offer you 3 years, 5 years a day, and that's the best. If you don't take it today, no other offer. We'll come across the table and we going, a lot of people, they go for it. Fuck that. Well, let's box it up then. I know good and well that I'm not going to trial, but I'm not going to allow them. I'm going to call they bluff. I don't care nothing about you talking about this is the last and final offer. Yeah, okay. Per lips to say anything. I know y'all don't want to go to trial. No, but they will. Don't get it twisted. They will. But they don't want to. I'm going to plead guilty, but I'm not pleading to 5. Ultimately, I want a year. Okay, I might end up with 2, maybe even 3, but I'm not pleading to 5. You got to play the game with them. You can't be afraid. You weren't afraid when you was out here on these streets doing whatever you was doing. Now you won't be afraid because the prosecution says this is 5 years and they're acting firm. Gangsters. These gangsters though, right? But at any rate, they see that Phil's going to trial. Everything is everything. They drop the whole sexual assault charge. After a year and a half, something that he never should have even been charged with, it gets dismissed. Phil got that paperwork on the yard. Because the word spreads on the penitentiary, The word spreads. So you tell an inmate, like inmates know things faster than probably normal people on the streets know them. He got the 2 years of child support. He's already been locked up, so he's eligible for parole. They offer him a 3-year deal. He ends up taking a 3-year deal on the marijuana trafficking charge, but he tries to fight that for the simple fact of it's called a suppression hearing or evidentiary hearing. If I was never charged with this bogus charge in the first place, you all never would have came to my door. Meaning that you all never would have seen what you seen because you wouldn't have had no reason to come to the door. He tried that. It didn't work. They ended up giving him 3 years on top of the 2 years of probation that he already had for a total, which is called running your sentence consecutive or wild, for 5 years. You end up getting a 5-year sentence total. In Kentucky, you go up for parole after 20%. 5-year sentence, you go up for parole after a year. He had already been up for parole, but they didn't give it to him because he had these pending charges. After everything was said and done, he ended up doing like a little bit over 2 years. He goes home. He goes home, does another probably 6 months on supervised release, reporting to a PO, and he gets out. Well, doesn't get out because he was already out, but he gets off of parole. He's out of the system. What's so crazy about that? Nothing ever happened to Aaron for filing that false report. Nothing ever happened to the daughter. Well, she's a child. She's only going in the direction of, what her mother was saying. Nothing ever happens to the people that make these false allegations. They're so brave. And the ones that have been sexually assaulted or violated, yeah, you are brave. But for the ones that's just making up shit, they are so brave. It took a whole lot of courage to do that. Took a whole lot of courage to what? Lie? Because he didn't want to put up with your shenanigans any longer. And because you feel as though you was clean for 3-4, weeks. Now he's not there. Now you mad at him. It's messed up, man. To even have that on your jacket, the danger that you put this man in. The lies that you told. Simply because you was bitter and you want to tell a lie. And it's crazy because Ralph's baby's mama that had him on child support initially, she had the option of going downtown. She was a white lady just as well. I'm not saying all white women do this, but she was a white lady just as well. Paint the picture. She had the option of going downtown, taking him off of child support. I love my daughter. I take care of my daughter. She wouldn't do it. Wouldn't do it. So I end up with a felony, man. Fellas, be mindful. Women, you all need to be mindful of dudes as well. But at this particular time, fellas, be mindful of these women, man, of some of these women. Because they would definitely do whatever it takes to get back at you when they hurt, man. And again, I'm not speaking about all women. There's a situation where Ralph probably should have never even ended up in the penitentiary, period. I get it, though. He was selling weed. So that part, okay. But he probably would have just got probated if it was just that. Now here it is. Weed is legal in a lot of states. Just be mindful of the people that you deal with, especially when it comes to having kids with an individual. Real Kens TV. Hopefully you all like the video, audio. Feel free to comment, definitely share, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Be sure to hit that post notification. Anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. Until next time.